Greetings and salutations. Welcome to Knife Chats with Tobias. Rough Ryder, the house brand for Smoky Mountain Knife Works, came out with the StoneWorx Series probably about 10 years ago or so. I have the original 12, and then they came out with a like an add-on collection of those that came in this box also that had about 3 or 4 more knives, and then another add-on that had 3 or 4 more knives in it. And I have all of those. And then later they re-released some of them again with slightly different stone arrangements and with a blade etch. And now once again they have come out with a new generation of StoneWorx knives. Now this is not to be confused with the malachite StoneWorx knives with the big R and the green malachite and white mother of pearls. These are the ones that are more closely related to the original StoneWorx knives. And I picked up 5 of those, and I'm going to be showing those in 5 different videos. Now, there's going to be a few things to look for when looking for the old generation versus the new generation. And the old generation has a smaller box. The new generation has the magnetic box, has the double R on there. The older ones will have the Rough Ryder on there. And notice RIDER versus RYDER. So that is the quickest way to tell the difference between the two, is just the packaging is totally different, especially considering now you have the magnetic boxes versus the more practical, smaller StoneWorx boxes, which to me look just as nice. But in any case, beyond the boxes, one other thing you're going to notice that is different with the new versus old StoneWorx knives is the old ones will have this crown bolster at the top. They will all have a crown bolster. The new knives will have a different style of bolster. That's the quickest way to tell them apart. And then in the middle you have some that have a StoneWorx blade etch on them. Thankfully, they've dispensed with the blade etch on the new generation. They did not bring that back. They went back to the original design without a blade etch. With that said, let's move on to the knives themselves. Now, the first one I grabbed right away was the large toothpick. But right after that, I went and looked to see what other knives were coming out in this series that have not been produced yet. And one of those was the RR2406. And that knife is the Hawkbill. The Hawkbill had not been made in the StoneWorx series yet, so it's like, wow, I've got to grab one of those. There's another knife also, and we'll get to that one next. But first, the Hawkbill showed up, and it's like, okay, great. I've got to have the Hawkbill. And the first thing I saw was, why did they put the green malachite in there? Because the series in the past was using 3 basic stones plus the genuine mother of pearl and genuine abalone. Yes, this is genuine white mother of pearl. This is genuine abalone. Same over here, mother of pearl and abalone. The faux stones, or the synthetic stones, are the turquoise and the bloody basin jasper, the red jasper. And then they also have a yellow jasper. But for some reason, with the Hawkbill, they went with 2 slabs of green malachite. And it kind of threw me for a loop. I actually looked at it and I was debating on if I was going to get it or not. But because it was a new pattern in the series, I went ahead and grabbed it. And I'm kind of happy I did. Despite them being, there's a serious flaw with this particular knife. I doubt that's, I've got 4 other ones, and the other ones do not have that flaw, and I will also get around to talking about the flaw in a little bit. But as I mentioned, first thing you'll notice is it's got a different bolster. All of the new ones have a different bolster. It's got the white threading, the single line threading. The large R is now gone. You have a nice pinch bolster at the top. You got the brass liner, and I believe it's nickel silver inlays in between the different stones and such. And the cool thing about all of them is, as you can see there, 440B, so they moved up the 440B steel in these. For those who like the swedges, they all have a swedge, and they all have the half stop. So that's a pretty cool thing. And you see the new Rough Rider logo going on there. This one, action could be a little bit better. It's not perfect, but it does stop at the half. And for those who like the Hawkbills, they're really going to kind of like this knife, especially for all those folks out there who are really crazy about swedges and half stops. I'm totally indifferent to the swedges on most knives, and I'm also totally indifferent to a half stop. It means very little to me if a knife has a half stop or not. That's me. I know other people that are crazy about a half stop, but you're seeing how this one is stopping. It is dirty. It is straight out of the box. I have not cleaned it yet. Well, let's get to the elephant in the room here. And you can see it right there. There's a hairline crack in the pearl right there, and another one up there. Now, that isn't from pinning or anything, and my nail kind of catches this one. It does not catch this one. I do not know if it's a stress fracture in the pearl from the get-go, you know, a crack in the shell to begin with, or if it happened after being pinned on here. I cannot tell. I really can't. In any case, this is the part that you need to understand. I called Smoky Mountain Knife Works about this. I told them that the pearl was cracked, and they told me, well, we'll just go ahead and refund your money for it, and you can go ahead and order a new one. So they did not just send one out to me, but they sent me a refund for the knife. So basically, this knife has not costed me anything yet, and I'm debating on if I'm going to pick up another one. And the reason I'm debating on picking up another one is mainly because of the green malachite. What I would have liked to have seen here instead would have been probably the abalone where the malachite is, and the yellow jasper here. If they had had blue, pearl, yellow jasper, and then abalone, and then the red spacer in the middle, I would have gone for that a lot more. That's really the problem. If the green grows on me a little bit more, I might end up grabbing the another Hawkbill. I might buy one. I don't know yet. But what I can tell you right now is Rough Rider stood up to its promise. There was a problem with the knife, and they refunded my money for it. So despite there being an issue with it, and that really is a minor flaw. You can see it on the camera when you're looking for it, but you don't see it nearly as badly unless you have really bright light giving it a good contrast and everything else. As far as the abalone goes, got some really good color in the abalone, and really good striation in there. Matter of fact, if those cracks would have been in the abalone, you'd have never seen it. Backside is near flawless. There's no cracks in the pearl or anything there. So really, it's hard to say if that was a natural flaw in the pearl or if it happened during production. But in any case, Rough Rider refunded my money for it. So it's hard to complain about that at that point. This knife is costing me nothing, and it is not a bad knife, and especially for a user knife. Now, someone actually asked me in a question in one of my videos, have I carried any of these knives? And yes, I have. I've carried some of the earlier ones for some time, and I've had no issues with the stones falling off or anything. Now, I did get one through an eBay sell. I purchased a whittler that had a loose stone that I basically reattached with a little Gorilla Glue, and it's fine. I would say that if you were to drop the knife or abuse the knife, then chances are, yeah, you could crack a stone, or you could one of the stones could be knocked loose. Matter of fact, that's what might have happened here. This knife might have been dropped somewhere in the process of going from China to Smoky Mountain Knife Works to me. Somewhere along the line, this knife might have fallen or broken or something at that point. Maybe they dropped it on the factory floor and it went unnoticed. Who knows? The other thing is the crack might have opened up with humidity on the way over from China. Who knows? I don't know. So I'm not faulting Smoky Mountain Knife Works too much for the crack in here. I'm also not making an excuse for them, but at the same time, I don't need to, because, again, they refunded my money for the knife and I still have it. Typical, you got the mass striker pull. For me, like I said, I don't care too much about the swedges, especially on a Hawkbill, but this one at least feels even on both sides. It looks even, it feels even. And you've got a step up in blade steel, 440B. Again, that looks like the direction that Rough Rider is running with, 440B. And you see there is a minor gap right up there at the pivot point, but otherwise it looks pretty good all the way along the line there. They did not do the black spacer goop underneath the stones, which I'm kind of happy with. The stones look really good. You feel a little bit of the ridges with all the little liners in between all the stones. That's not a big issue to me, and matter of fact, I expect that with a knife like this. All in all, I'm very pleased with this knife, and come on, I can't beat the price. I paid nothing for it, so that's the Hawkbill, and we'll stick around and I will give you the specs on the Hawkbill, and then stay tuned for other videos in this series, and I will go through the other 4 StoneWorx knives that I've picked up recently. Who knows, by the time I get through the end of it, I might have 5 or 6 more that I need to add in. Let me take just a second to thank you once again for dropping by and spending a few minutes here at Knife Chats with Tobias. I really do appreciate it, and I do appreciate any comments that you leave. So please remember to give me that thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you'll know when the next episode is up and running. Thanks again for dropping by. Really do appreciate your time here.